The leaves are glossy and dark, and from the dying blooms rises a fragrance that might be jasmine. He sets up the tripod and begins to focus the camera. He has pressed the shutter twice when an aggressive voice calls out from the house on the right. This isn't the first time this kind of thing has happened to him, but still he is startled. He takes on a friendly tone and says he is an artist, just photographing a hedge. "You can't do that here," the voice says. "This is private property." The muscles of his back are tense. He folds the tripod, stows the camera in its bag, and walks away. On Monday, he goes to the department where packages and other mail await him. Among them, a white envelope with a 1/4-inch thick black line along its flap. 2 or 3 envelopes of this kind arrive each month. Official announcements of the passing of past or current members of the faculty. The envelope is almost square. He sits in his office and opens it. The card inside is also trimmed in black. An emeritus professor of microbiology, not someone he knows, has died. The cards don't deviate from a formula. The dean expresses regret at the death of the professor in question in antiquated language. A death that occurred on the 6th instant is one that happened on the 6th of this month. The 15th ultimo is the 15th of last month. He has begun to collect the cards, thinking of them in their high-toned formality as an echo of the morning dress worn in previous times. The silks and grenadines of widows' gowns in the Civil War era, the black veils, black gloves, and black jewelry that let society know a grief was being observed. That symbolic order of colors is gone now. That tracking of heavy, full, or partial mourning in the language of black, gray, purple, lavender. There are 2 books on his desk. Calvino's Invisible Cities, and a translation of the Epic of Sundiata. The latter contains versions of the epic by 2 different Jolis, Bamba Suso and Bana Kanute, and he has recently finished reading Bamba Suso's version. On one of the bookcases is a bottle of dark ink sent to him by Paul Lanier. The ink is made from wild grapes collected around railway tracks in St. Louis, and because it is homemade, the color has shifted. In the bottle, it still looks deep, close to violet. But brushed on paper, it has now taken on a pale color reminiscent of the sea. But the sea, how? When we say the sea is blue, we are thinking of a light or pale blue, a color close to sky blue. The sea is sometimes one of those blues and sometimes a darker version of them, but the sea is also often not blue at all. It is sometimes orange, sometimes gray, sometimes purple with the iridescence of Homer's Porphyros, sometimes nothing, transparent water. At dusk, it goes from silvery to pewter. On a moonless night, it is black. He picks up the bottle of ink, an aged lavender, a purple haunted in its lower registers by indigo. The African violet is where the name comes from, but he also loves the false web of etymologies the name summons. The tenderness of a viol, the strain of a violin, the hint of violence. Not the violet of medieval bishops and university professors, but rather the violet of darkest African skin. Paintings by Mark Rothko, Agnes Martin, Lorna Simpson, but above all, Chris Ofili, in the lower register of whose Mary Magdalene is a violet so deep it could drown the eyes, in whose raising of Lazarus there is a violet so base it could raise the dead. The hand-dyed, hand-spun cloth that he took from his grandmother's wardrobe a few months after her death. Gray for loss, violet for love.